Hello and welcome to Rolling with Two. I'm Will, and with me as always is Scoundrel 1602.
Sarah.
And today we're doing a two-player perspective and accessibility for 3000 Scoundrels. Now if you're interested in our opinion, check out our other video, Rolling with Reviews, 3000 Scoundrels. Sarah, tell us a bit about this game.
All right. In 3000 Scoundrels, players assume the roles of rival leaders, attempting to steal precious technology left behind by the Traveler. Players will hire card-crafted scoundrels to build powerful combos, steal technology, and outsmart each other. Whoever has the most technology points at the end of the game wins. All right, well, so how does the game change for two players?
So for all player counts,
Right.
you'll use a different number of job and specific trait cards. There is an instruction on how many, like for example, jobs are divided into green, purple, and then black. I think in all player counts you kind of use all the black.
Yeah, all the black.
And then you pull out different amounts of green and different amounts of purple.
Right.
And then they get stacked, so you actually have a stacked deck. And then for trait cards, it's the same thing, except the top section is blue and the bottom section is red. So use all the red, but then you only use certain number of blue.
Right.
And there is no bot for a two-player. There is an expansion that I think does a solo player,
Right.
and that would probably have a bot. But for the time being, your Nanoman is a time traveler.
Yep.
Those are all the changes.
All right, so issues at a two-player count is, well, there's just low player interaction, and this game kind of thrives on that.
Yeah, one of the major pillars of this game's design is bluffing, and without good player interaction, that bluffing can really fall flat.
Yeah, you just need more people at the table, because if it's just two people, it gets kind of boring to continually think, okay, well, is he bluffing? And I'm the only one who can say if he's bluffing other than him, and he's not going to tell me if he's bluffing.
Right.
So,
Whereas you can have a better conversation with more players, like, well, what do you think? Do you think? And Nanoman will just tell you Nanoman because that's all really Nanoman says.
or if you're not sure, but someone else wants to take the chance, they might, call someone's bluff, saving you the hassle of needing to do it or whatever. It's just having more people at the table has more assessment of the person whose turn it is and who's bluffing.
Yes.
That's kind of really the major issue, but
two players.
for two-player experience. But on the other hand, what it does well at two players is it's incredibly fast because there's just two of you and you just keep going back and forth.
Yeah, there is either 2 days for a short game or 3 days for a long game.
Right.
And each day comprises each person taking 4 turns. And they'll do it one at a time. So one person will make a choice, they'll do their actions, the next person makes a choice, and goes back and forth till everyone has 4.
Right.
And that's a day.
Yeah.
And once you get to the end of 2 in a quick game or 3 and a long game, that's it. So it's 8 or 12 choices.
So, yeah, it's just not much, so at least it goes by quickly.
Yep.
That's it. The two-player experience, yeah, that's it.
All right, accessibility.
Accessibility. So, unfortunately, the safe cards are color-coded only. So there's 3 areas on the board, which I am forgetting, like the
The
estate.
depot, the
depot.
estate, and the laboratory.
Right.
Each one will have 5 cards.
Right. So they're color-coded to be blue, red, and gray. But they didn't put an icon to say, well, this is the depot, which like could have been a train, or the estate, which could have been, I don't know, a house. And
Or they could have wrote the word depot and
oh,
estate.
yeah, they could have used the words too. So the only reason we bring this up is that some of the shades could be close for some people's colorblind issues, might make it difficult. The good thing is if you look at the faces ahead of time, there are certain numbers and each area is going to have a certain grouping of numbers. So if you can identify it, you can identify it that way. So I can't remember the numbers, but like the depot is just like 3, 4, and a 5, I think. So if you see that spread of safe card numbers on the faces, then you know that goes to the depot.
Well, they'll go even more specific. They'll say this area has like 3 4s and 2 3s.
It's very specific. It has like a dial, that like a safe dial, and it shows you all the numbers possible there. So it's not 100% like necessary. It's just the fast way to identify where the safe cards go. But if you can't tell the colors apart, then you can tell by the face numbers. Once you've identified where it goes on the board, turn them face down, shuffle them, and put them out.
Yeah. Or maybe mark them yourself before.
Yeah.
So your copy of the game, you can like easily go, well, I put a D on this, so that's the depot. I put an L on this, that's the laboratory, and I put a E on this for
estate.
Right.
So. Yeah. One of the other things is this does have sleeved cards that you do need to keep sleeved. So there could be some mobility challenges here. You have to sleeve the trait cards before the game. During the game, you have, or not traits, jobs. The jobs go in the...
Jobs are clear cards.
The jobs are clear cards that go in the sleeve. Then during the game, you're going to be taking a trait card, which is a solid normal card, sliding it into the sleeve behind the job card so that it
combines
the information together. So during the game, you're going to be sleeving. And then after the game, you're going to be unsleeving. So, I mean, it's not a lot, but it's constant. So if you know you have mobility issues with your hands, you're either going to want to avoid this game or you're going to need somebody at the table to do it for you.
Yes, you will need a sleeve monkey.
Yes, sleeve monkey. Also, there is hidden information. So those with more severe vision issues might have challenges with this game, but Will was able to manage because there's really just a focus on numbers.
Yes.
And you can ignore the thematic name of things. We found it really didn't matter. So the hidden information is the numbers on the safe.
And the numbers in your hand.
And the numbers in your hand.
Because you'll have little mini poker cards, which are essentially what you use to choose your actions.
Right. They're action selection choices.
Yes.
But thankfully it's numbers, well, and letters because there's an ace.
Yes.
In the poker cards. But that's pretty clear text, but it is hidden and it needs to be kept hidden for the game to
it's one of the bluffing elements.
Right. But that's it. So it does a lot of things right. The job cards are double coated. Can't talk. So the green
money bag
has a money bag. The purple
has a horseshoe.
And the black
has a longhorn skull.
Right. Now the only thing being is the sleeves themselves don't have that icon on there. So I don't think most people would have trouble with purple and black, but those two are dark colors.
Yeah.
So you still may need someone to help you sleeve them. But once you have the job cards in the sleeves, they never come out. They never need to come out. So in essence, once the game is set up once, then it's all combined and you don't have to worry about that color anymore.
Yeah. The only time you might need is if you rip the sleeve, I guess.
Yeah, and
they each do have like two extra sleeves for each color.
Right. The font and contrast is pretty good on all the cards. They did do some thematic fonts, but I would say that it's not overly fancy. It's bold and relatively clear to read. There's, thankfully for us, one of our kind of pet peeves is hybrid icon text descriptions, because that makes it difficult for Will to read when there's a sentence, but all these icons are littered throughout instead of normal words.
Yeah.
Here, I mean, they could have used the symbol for money, but nope, they go in and they just say $1. So when this activates, gain $1. So it's all very clear text. And there's only a couple of icons in the game anyways.
Yeah, and when they use icons, they just stick with icons. They don't make a hybrid.
Right.
Yeah, no trading what looks like a donkey, gain what looks like a coin, to spend what looks like a sofa, and get...
Why is there a sofa in an Old West game?
That's what confuses me. That's why I don't like it.
Moving on, the Scoundrel cards are open information, and that is where I think the most complex information is.
Yes.
So it's really good that it's open information, so if anybody's having any difficulties, someone hopefully can help, whether it's explaining what they do, which leads me to one of the things that's great is the rule book is really good. It's comprehensive. It references other pages, so when it's telling you about a concept, it might mention another concept and says, don't worry, we will fully explain this, but if you want to read more right now, go to this page about it. And all the cards are detailed in the glossary at the end. So
everything.
Everything. So it's a really, really good rule book. And the player colors and all your player components, they are icon coded to the suits of your basic playing deck. So there's one character who's the heart and diamond and
spade and club.
So it's thematic as well as icon identified.
Yes.
I think that's everything.
All right, then. Would you recommend for 2 players?
I don't think so. I think the core gameplay of this is just going to be better at higher player counts.
Yeah, I think both players would have to be really, really into bluffing and playing that way for this to even have a chance. For the most part, though, it's not the best bluffing game for 2 players.
Correct.
So I agree with Sarah. Not really for 2 players.
Yeah.
Accessibility.
I would say mostly yes. I mean, I think your biggest issues are going to just be the setup of the safeguards and then any mobility issues with the sleeving and the unsleeving. I don't see anything else being too difficult.
Yeah, in fact, they did a really good job with a lot of the double coding of certain cards. Like, oh, what is this? Oh, yeah, it has an icon, so I know what it is. So very good there. Very nicely put together. Some slight issues, but I mean, that's part and parcel for what this game offers.
Yes, agreed.
All right, well, speaking of what this game offers, one of the reasons why we picked it up and tried it out was the card crafting mechanism. Sarah, what do you think about it?
I think it has a lot of interesting potential because the ability, basically the trait card is how the ability triggers, and the job card is what the ability is. And it has some really interesting combinations where the combo works really well. But the problem is there are times where it doesn't really work well at all because it's contradictory. Like we had one that was like, put one of your henchmen in jail, and that was the trigger. But then you could either gain $4,
$3,
or $3, and get
take a henchman out of jail.
Yeah.
I want to put my henchman in jail so I can take him out of jail.
So I think they didn't quite hit it on the head with testing all the combinations to make sure they roughly work. I wanted them to work better. Because there were a lot of times I was looking at the random combination, and honestly, most of the early game, I was passing on hiring and just gaining money because they just were either too specific or just didn't function well.
Yes, I totally agree. And that was really the problem with the game is mechanisms sometimes just fell flat when they combined in the wrong way.
Right.
Now, the one thing it did do really nicely, though, I thought, was how it handled the art. Where the trait had the person pretty much in their long johns.
Yes.
And then the job card had the outfit or the robot body or whatever the thing was that kind of went over, so the head stuck out and the hand stuck out, and you basically created a person that with a unique art style every time you combine to create one of the Scoundrels.
Yep. I thought that was really cool. I think that it was a lot of fun.
Yes. All right, well, that'll do it for us. And why would you ever roll with just one when you can be
rolling with 2?
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with 2, that's TWO. We're on Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Discord, we have a channel on Tabletop Express. Check the show notes for the invite link.
If you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.